Hi. So I did mention that I wanted to share my personal experience with worry and how it affected my life and how I manage it today. So first, I think we have to start with, um, the time that we're living in, with this pandemic, with a lot of people being worried to get the virus or their children getting the virus, losing their job, losing their homes, losing their cars. I mean, there's a lot of valid reasons to why people may be worried at this present time because we are living in a very difficult, uncertain time. But I think, um, you know, everyone, we all, you know, tend to worry because it's an emotion, right? And we're human and we feel stuff. And so I think worry is something that, from one time or another, we're all going to feel it. But I think it's how we handle that worry that ultimately determines the outcome of the situation. Not really a situation, but more what was going on within yourself. Because there's many times we have no control of the situation and the outcome, but you do have control of how you're going to react to it. And that's kind of where I want to get at today. It's how are you reacting to things that are happening in your life? Why are you allowing the worry to consume you? Because remember, everything starts here. It starts with a thought. You're entertaining that thought. You're overthinking. Now that thought becomes a feeling. And so you're entertaining that feeling, which eventually is going to become a reaction. And more than likely, it's going to be a negative one. So for me, I used to tend to just worry a lot, period. I was a worrier, not a warrior, a worrier. I was always worried about stuff. I was overthinking. I was always overthinking things. Always trying to find a solution to things. And we have to remember, sometimes we have no control over how things are going to play out. You have no control of the weather. You have no control of other people. You just have no control. You only do what you can and hope for the best with that. So for me, there's one night, I know most of you, if not all of you, know that I am a believer in Jesus Christ. And he's my everything to me. And so it was one of those nights where, I know a lot of you guys know all the situations that happened to me. And such, just in a year, there's like a lot of things happened to me. And so how do you tend not to worry when so many things are happening to you and you really don't know what's going to be the outcome of that situation or situations? But it was in one of those moments when I was talking to God that I had a thought run through my mind that said, well, again, for those of you that are believers, you know exactly what I'm talking about, that faith and worry, they don't go together. You either have faith or you have worry, but you really can't have both. And that's kind of what came to my mind. I'm like, wow, that's true. Like, how could I say that I have faith when I'm worrying about a situation? If I already prayed about it and gave it to God, why am I still worried? Right? So as of that night, I made a decision that I was not going to allow worry to consume me anymore. That if I was able to control the situation, I would do the best that I can, the best of my ability. And if I couldn't, I would just lay it in God's feet and let him handle it and do this with it, and that's it. And if you're a believer, I encourage you to do that. And trust me, the minute you do that, you'll start seeing a lot of things change in your life. For those of you that are not believers, it's just, again, here, don't entertain thoughts, especially those that are beyond your control. There are times where we cause our own worry, right? There's things that we're doing that is causing a reaction and then the worry, because there's something that we're doing. And it just kind of you reap what you sow type of deal. And so it's good to reflect and say, okay, like, why am I worried? You know, is it something that I'm doing? And if you determine that that's something you could change it. Change it. You can't win everything, you know. So change it. And if you can't, then just let it go. If it's by worrying, are you going to change anything? You're not. There's a video that I saw about this man that where he was sharing his story, because he just tend to always worry about everything. And it was consuming his life so much that he made a decision. He decided that he was no longer was going to worry. That he was going to choose one day of the week to do all the worrying. And the rest of the 6 days of the week, he was just going to be at peace. So what this man would do, let's say a circumstance happened on that day that would usually trigger him to worry, he'll write it down. The following day, the same thing, he'll write it down. Then came that day of the week that he had chose where he was going to just worry. And he came to find out that whatever he was going to be worried about, let's say that Tuesday, he was no longer worried about it the following Tuesday. He had forgotten about it until he read it, or it resolved itself. And it made him realize that most of the time we worry for nothing. Why? Because we're always overthinking. We're thinking way ahead of ourselves. We're playing scenarios in our minds that aren't even happened. So why do that to ourselves? Why torment ourselves? Most of the worry is because we do that. It's really overthinking. It's really playing scenarios in your mind. You need to stop doing that. You're not going to change nothing. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. There's nothing you could do to change it. Again, like I said, unless you realize it's something that you're doing that's causing your own worry that you could change it. If you can't, just let it go. For me, it just, because when I used to just worry about things, it paralyzed my mind. It just, I couldn't think straight. Because I was overthinking, giving myself anxiety. Because, again, if it's because other people's actions that is causing you to worry or whatever it is that you're feeling, you can't control other people, but you could control how you're going to react to the situation. So, I just want to encourage you guys. There's a lot of valid reasons to why we're, especially at this present time, worried. But there's a lot of you that you just worry. You worried way before this pandemic, like me. You were a worrier. You just worry about stuff, And I just want you just to reflect on that tonight. And just think that what have you really changed by worrying or overthinking about things or playing scenarios in your mind about things that when you think about it, they didn't even happen the way you thought they would. And all you did was stress yourself out. Worry is a negative emotion. It's a negative feeling. It brings you down. It brings your spirit down. You're not able to think straight. It could get you in a bad mood, which will affect everybody around you. So, again, I like to say, if you're a believer, take it to God's feet and forget about it. Don't worry about it anymore. And if you're not, this is just just about the whole, it's another scripture that says that, you have to hold your thoughts captive. Meaning it says it for a reason. It's kind of what I'm saying. It starts here, it starts with a thought, and it says hold it captive. The minute it enters your mind, you're thinking about that negative thought. Catch it right there. Start thinking about something else. Redirect yourself. You don't have to entertain that thought. Just because it came to mind, you don't have to entertain that thought. You don't. All you have to do is shift your mind somewhere else. Think about something else. Think about what you're going to eat for lunch. I don't know, anything. Because you really have the power to control your thoughts. You really do. And a lot of people don't think that. They just think, oh, I'm thinking about it. Oh, I'm going to dwell on it. I'm going to, But once you realize how much power you truly have, you'll be amazed. And I was that person. I didn't know how much power I truly had. I didn't. And so because I didn't know, I would allow myself to be consumed in these thoughts, entertaining them, playing scenarios of how things are going to happen, and never did. So I just want to leave you guys with that. How me worrying never brought nothing positive into my life, ever, ever. And now that I chose just to not overthink, because that's key word, the overthinking. Don't do that. That's kind of the main thing. Don't overthink. Don't dwell on, don't entertain stuff that you can't change. This virus, we can't change it. I see a lot of people overly worried, overly consumed. They're obsessed with the virus. And again, I'm not saying, don't be cautious. You have to do your part. Stay away from people, wear your mask, wash your hands, do your part. If you still get it, then you did your part. Right now, I had it. And even then, I would wear my mask. I would always have sanitizers and Lysol and all this stuff. And I still got it. Okay, so, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Okay, all you could do is your part and not obsess over it. Like, I hear a lot of people constantly talking about it. Like, gosh, okay, you don't have to be obsessed over something. So yeah, that's kind of like just wanted to share that with you guys. I hope that, it helps someone, you ladies, just to kind of like self-reflect and have more peace. Have more peace. It's a beautiful thing. There's no money in the world who can buy you peace. It's something that you have to find within yourself. It's an amazing thing because with peace comes joy. And joy is so different than happiness. Because happiness is something that comes and goes. Joy is something you have all the time. Regardless of circumstances, you have joy. No one can take that from you. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. Okay? Stay blessed.